Hello people, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. This is Sorin and today we're going to talk about the chapter 4 of Battle Pass Season 11 in World of Tanks. So, we're starting off July, we see the World of Tanks video of what's happening in July pretty much, and they have nothing to mention about the chapter 4 of when this is gonna happen. My prediction is gonna be towards the last week of July, yet it is still gonna happen pretty much I think in August. So pretty much probably in August World of Tanks are gonna mention, hey, we're gonna have this chapter 4, 2 weeks. What you need to do is to farm 50 stages of or however stages they are to get yourself a free tier 8 or maybe a tier 9 premium tank. So yeah, reaching to this video, those are gonna be my main 4 candidates I think for tier 8s. For tier 9s, I'm not really sure if Wargaming are gonna release any tier 9s yet, but we're gonna stick to tier 8s pretty much. Because for tier 9s I have nothing really to think about it other than probably next upcoming tanks that are gonna be for the Battle Pass token store, such as the Object 752 that I mentioned sometime earlier on this channel. So, starting off, we have the 5060p, which is a Polish heavy tank, which pretty much is a newer version of the 50TP prototype that is still doing really good even in today's meta. And I think that vehicle is 5 years old or something like that, but it still does the job pretty well. You have 8 degrees of gun depression on that, 440 alpha damage, which this vehicle doesn't have as highly of alpha damage as that one. Yet, I still feel like the 50TP, even for today's meta, is still a really solid vehicle, even though it's 5 or 6 years outdated. So, this 56TP, pretty low DPM, quite okay, penetration of 221, so it's still average for a heavy tank in tier 8. What about the premium runs? Let's say APCRs with 252. Yeah, that's a bit on the lower side, but versus a mouse or versus tier 10s, yeah, you're gonna really struggle to penetrate. 14-second reload time, so it's mandatory to use a rammer. What else do you have? 122 millimeters of caliber, which means you can overmatch. Really good shell velocity on AP, I really like that. Some ammo capacity, so with this rate of fire, you might not run out of ammo that fast. In terms of the gun handling, here it's a big difference compared to the 50TP prototype. Really good aiming time of 1.82 seconds, 0.33 dispersion, which is really accurate. Moving dispersion and turret traverse. Over here we have an update for from the What Express. Can you see actually this page? I can see it, which they mentioned about the 5060p. This video was on the 2nd of July. So all the dispersions from 0.2 to 0.24, yet the turret traverse from 0.08 to 0.12, which means, yeah, the dispersions are not gonna be as good anymore. So pretty much they'll be pretty much part on part with the VZ1116, which we're gonna talk later. Yet 9 degrees of gun depression, it is very good, and 20 degrees of elevation, it is still gonna be pretty decent. So in terms of equipment, pretty much you need a rammer and a stabilizer. So what's gonna be the third slot? In terms of the mobility, 14 km/h top speed with a really healthy 17.86 power to weight ratio. That is very mobile for a heavy tank, and this thing weighs 56, so it's not really the heaviest. So in theory your mobility is very good. On top of that you have, okay, I mean not the best ground resistance, but yet not the worst. So really good, really mobile with a really good pretty much, yeah, I think it's a good gun, but DPM. What about the armor? Hull armor, 80 millimeters. Yeah, it's not gonna be that good. The return 200 in the front. We're gonna take a look to see how this thing looks in the 3D model. 1450 hit points. The lower side, actually, that's average for tier 8 heavy tank. And what else do we have over here? We have 380 meters view range, which is once again a very average. So Radio range for 40 meters, that's gonna be an issue. That's gonna be a mistake over here, I think. But how I would prepare my vehicle if this will be the final statistics. So once again, rammer, vertical stabilizer, and probably a hardening, just to have better hit points. And let's take a look at the model to see how this vehicle will perform. Actually, not how it will perform, how it will look. Okay, so really funky angles against AP and APCRs. Hit is gonna be very green, and oh, this vehicle looks like object 260 kind of pick nose, because this thing is very angled. Yet at the same time, if you want to side scrape, it is not gonna be very good, because this is gonna be a weak point. You have a slight cupola, but because the turret is very rounded, it is still gonna be penetrated that much. We have two chicks over here, and by the looks of it, the gun mantle it's 200, so AP and APCRs can penetrate your turret dead on. Yet the profile of this vehicle, 80 meters on the side, and pretty much the side, it's, oh boy, this vehicle looks very long, and whenever you're gonna cross like this, BZ-176 are gonna love to shoot your side. Yet at the rear armor, yeah, this thing is green, so H rounds are still gonna be very damaging towards your vehicle. Yet it is a very sleek silhouette. Like the tracks looks like half, well, not really half, but a quarter of the vehicle. So the vehicle is very slim, and the turret is kind of huge. Yet at the same time, you're gonna have weak points over here, like you have with Panzer Krampfwagen 7, the tier 10 super heavy German tank, and other tanks that have pretty much the same kind of layout. Yet about the 5060p, is it gonna be good? Probably, because obviously you have a gun that you can defend yourself, but once again you have body PM, which you can get up to 1900, I think, if you equip everything correctly. So 5060p, is it gonna be something new? Probably, but once again, I still hold my thought that the 50p prototype is still a really decent vehicle, even though it has better armor, yet worse gun, yet worse mobility. But this vehicle, in hands of a good player that can make use of the mobility, and obviously because of it has really good this gun depression and dispersion, it might be very powerful inside the hands of a good player. Next, another candidate from China. This is the VZ-1116. So it's pretty much the platform of a VZ-111 Alpine Tiger or the VZ-111 with a different gun. 2187 DPM. That is very good compared to the other tank in this list. Reload time it's under 10 seconds with a 360 alpha damage. For heavy is not that punchy, yet the penetration is still decent, yet not the best, not the worst. 105mm caliber, which means you cannot really overmatch that many plates. 35mm plates you are not going to be overmatch, only 30mm and lower. Shell velocity, once again, 1050, it is very good. So with the AP rounds, you are still gonna be, actually no, that has APCRs as standard, so this is why the shell velocity is that good, and hit with 290 meters. Oh, I did not saw that one coming. 290 on hit, meaning you can overmatch plates now, and you can still penetrate like mouse chicks and E100s and so on and so forth. So yeah, out of the start, this vehicle has way better ammunition than the 5060p. How about the ammo capacity? You have plenty, you have twice as much, yet you're firing 50% of the shells. I kind of like this vehicle at first glance. Next, do I like the gun handling? 2.7 aiming time, it's among the Russian side of the story. 0.38 dispersion for a lower caliber gun with less alpha damage. Yeah, this vehicle is gonna get really balanced by the gun handling, and once again the dispersion that I mentioned with the 56 TP. Yet 8 degrees of gun depression is still workable, so this vehicle is not gonna be engaging its opponents at decent distances, only at close range. Yet, once again, it's a typical heavy with obviously close quarters combat. In terms of mobility though, 40 km/h top speed, the same as the 5060p. Reverse is 15, which is 1 km better than the 56. It's lighter, yet it has a worse engine, 13.48 power to weight ratio, which means once again this vehicle might want to use a vertical stabilizer and a turbocharger. So once again you have one slot to use. Yeah, the gun, this not the dispersion, what are those resistances are a bit better than the 5060p, yet they are worse on soft. So yeah, this vehicle is not gonna be, it's gonna be pretty much so slow. I mean, even on hard, this vehicle is gonna reach only 26 km/h. Or actually, no, that's the tank reverse, I think. Yeah, that's the tank reverse, sorry. That the top speed, I think, is gonna be showing if I click on the tank. So let's actually double check that before I say any kind of effective top speed. So yeah, this tank can reach its effective top speed. But on soft, yeah, it is gonna go twice as slow. Okay. Mobility, we saw that this thing needs a turbocharger. What about the armor? So, starting off 120 and 120. So I think it's the same silhouette as the VZ111. With that thing has preferential matchmaking, I think. So versus this thing versus tier 10 is not gonna be as good. 330 though, that is gonna be interesting to see how the layout is. 1450 hit points, it's less than the VZ111 that I think it has 1550, or that is the 12112. And 380 meters V range, which is plenty of V range for this vehicle, which means with ventilation and a good crew, and on top of that some consumable as well, food or whatever it is on this vehicle. I think it's combat rations, or actually not combat ration, it's yeah, it's combat rations. Okay, this vehicle, where are we? So for this, I think it's gonna be like that, bam and bam, with some consumables, smooth ride like this, and what else? Recon. Yeah, this vehicle is gonna have, oh yeah, and the food as well. With the food as well, yeah, it's gonna have plenty of the variance. So yet the dispersion is dropping a bit, but yeah, the VZ111 Model 6, it's looking very solid. It was again the same issue with the 5060p. You have only 3 degrees of gut depression over the back, so yeah, it's not gonna be. What's this? You have spaced armor over the front, 400 millimeters. Oh boy, that's a turret over here. Yeah, the turret is gonna be very sturdy for this vehicle, and you have a small like chieftain kind of cupola. I mean, the chieftain is a bit smaller, but look at this. This thing has 300 of turret armor. Yeah, this vehicle is gonna be... Now I understand why the World of Tanks have decided to give it such a bad gun. I mean, the gun is not bad, but obviously the dispersion and the accuracy is pretty bad. This is looking a bit dangerous. Yet about the armor, it's much better than the VZ111. 240, 250 over the nose. It's kind of be pretty decent for a tier 8. Yeah, the lower plate is penetrable by tier 7 as well, so that's understandable. You can side scrape with this vehicle, pretty much not the best, but you can still do. Damn, that side armor is looking very, very decent. Yeah, the VZ111 Model 6. What I think about this vehicle? Yeah, I think this vehicle is gonna rip enemies apart. Well, not really rip apart, but it's another vehicle that is made for hold down combat. With 8 degrees of gut depression, yeah, this vehicle is gonna be very nasty. And this vehicle also have a 3D styles, which makes it the first one to think that is gonna be inside the chapter 4. So yeah. I'm gonna have some nightmare at night. Next, probably a vehicle that we don't have any statistics nor any announcement of this vehicle, the CS52C. This is your typical medium with worse DPM than the 1.6, medium tank penetration, rate of fire of a medium, caliber of a medium, average ammo capacity, an average gun as well. It's more like a heavy tank gun, but way better dispersion. 7 degrees on gun depression, which are pretty decent, and mobility that is obviously a medium with the same power to weight ratio as a heavy tank in terms of the 50-60p. What else special about this vehicle? Some armor. I mean, the turret armor is 260, and I think that's once again very nice. Kind of healthy for a medium tank, and on top of that you have all the concealment that you need and 380 meters view range. I don't think this CS52 is gonna be in the battle pass. This is why I'm not reviewing it to the fullest. But this is pretty much like a C52 list if I think about it. It's nothing really spectacular about it, but 7 degrees of gun depression over the front and yet 3 degrees over the back. 250 alpha damage gun, it's among the lower side. I think the C52 list is still gonna be a better pick than this one. In terms of the armor, in this vehicle doesn't really have that much armor. It has only 75 millimeters on the turret. So only the mantle is 260. That's a bit scam. I did not saw that one coming. And KV2s can penetrate you frontally with HEs. Well, in the lower plate, but still they can penetrate you frontally. This vehicle it's not really worth it. Once again, you have this flap over here, just like you do on the 56 TP. So this vehicle probably is not gonna make it. I think there are actually two tanks that I think about it. Is the VZ116 and the XM66F, because the vehicle repair cost was slightly nerfed, and pretty much whenever Wargaming are trying to release a product, they are changing their repair speed, the repair cost to say so. So the XM66F, why do I think about this vehicle being inside obviously inside the chapter 4? Well, you have the TS5, which is really popular tank. A lot of players like it, a lot of people grind it for that, spend money on it, and so on and so forth. It's probably the best tank destroyer tier 8. And how about we give it a turret? Yeah. 400 alpha damage is the same. 232 AP pen, that's very good. 276 APCR, it's worse than the TS5's hit over 300, but once again, you have to pay something for it. Yet, look at this AP shell velocity 1065, actually 1067, 1240 and 980 on HE. That is very good. That is really good. You don't actually need to use APCR to snipe. I mean, obviously, if you cannot penetrate, then APCR might do the job. But once again, they are losing some penetration over distances. So, yeah, this tank is not really APCR dependent, in my opinion, if I think about it. But yet, and at the same time, the TS5, I think it has 248 or 250 of AP pens. So that vehicle is more towards the free-to-play side. But this tank doesn't have the best DPM. Rate of fire is 4, which means the rate of fire is 6, which means 2400 base DPM. Aiming time is 2.3. Aiming the dispersion is 0.38, which is average among the worst side. But who cares? You are a frontal assault tank. You don't really need the accuracy. You just fight close, and you don't really need to have the accuracy. If it's gonna be like a 300-meter engagement, you still have a good enough aiming time. You can still wait 3-4 seconds to aim, and then you shoot, and there are still chances for you to hit. 10 degrees of gun elevation, actually of depression, and 20 of elevation. That's very good. That's better than the TS. You have 60 degrees of traverse, which is 30 to the left and 30 to the right. That's much better than the TS. You have yourself a tank that can turn, I think, up to here, I think, on each side. And that makes it very powerful. Mobility 35, which for, I believe, all quick baby Avengers, they're gonna put a turbocharger on it and go up to 40. If it's gonna be any kind of crew 2.0 by the time this vehicle reach the battlefield, you can get for engineer or whatever that thing was called, you can get another one. For another field mode, you can get another maybe 2 km an hour. So therefore you can go 43 km an hour top speed with this vehicle. And once again, you can go backwards with probably 15, 16. So yeah, this vehicle is gonna be very good once it's gonna be in the game. The specific power to ratio with a turbo, and probably you want to put some fuel in it, you can go up to 15. So that's gonna be once again very good. Hull traverse and the gun traverse are gonna increase with the fuel and the turbo. The hit points, probably you want to use hardening on this. The hull armor is 95, but 230 on the turret. Most of the maps are based on turret armor. On city maps, there are still rubbles that you can hide on with the implementation of what was called dynamic cover and the events, random events. So yeah, this vehicle doesn't have kind of weak points. I mean, yeah, it does have the lore plate and so on, but obviously it's much more comfortable and it's much more durable than probably than the TS. And therefore, this is why I think Wargaming are going to implement this as a chapter 4. It's either this on the 111 Model 6, or out of nowhere they're going to come up with something out of scratch that no one heard of, and they're going to be like, yeah, this is going to be the tank. But this tank is very solid. And as I showed my opinion about the TS, it was very popular. Everyone grinded for it. It is very competitive, and therefore having a tank destroyer with a kind of the same potential, yet is more mobile and more flexible. This tank is gonna be sold for good and for many players. And once again, the thing where they did a repair of. They tweak the repairs. So therefore this probably is gonna be the tank. So this was the video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I think it was spoke for 23 minutes. Yeah, sorry for that. I'm gonna make some some timestamps so you can choose. I think I supposed to say this at the beginning of the video. Sorry for that, but there are gonna be stamps on the video. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe for more videos. Peace out.